It's April 8th, 2010, and this is the Idle Thumbs Podcast, Episode 5.
And I'm Chris Remo.
I'm Steve Gaynor.
And I'm Jake Rodkin.
And it's April 8th.
And it's April 8th, 2010, and this is the Idle Thumbs Podcast, Episode 5.
Wow, sounds like a good one.
I'm still Chris Remo, though.
Yeah. I don't know. You know who I am.
Oh, okay. And we went to PAX.
Oh, shit.
Oh, God.
Or at least Jake and I did.
Yeah.
PAX East.
Steve decided that he hates both of us, so he didn't want to associate with.
I think that's probably the best thing to blame me hating on for me not going to PAX.
Chris and I?
Yeah. I mean, at least they're kind of local targets. It's not like I hate our fans, video games, Boston.
Well, what you hate the
Arcade.
Red Sox.
Are they from Boston?
Yeah.
Games, video 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 games.
It's April 8th, 2010, and this is the Idle Thumbs Podcast, Episode 5. I am being judged right now by Steve Gaynor.
And I'm Chris Remo.
And I'm judging Jake Rodkin.
And I'm Jake Rodkin.
And I'm Chris Remo still.
No. What is... No. We got to stop at me. See, we did
Who are you?
I'm Jake Rodkin.
And we went to PAX. Jake and Chris went to PAX.
Two of the three previously heard face...
2 or 3 previously heard face.
Yes. Oh, God.
All right.
Talk
Heard
good.
face, Goldblum.
Here
cold
goes starting over
face.
again.
What? We don't need to do that.
Oh,
we
we
set.
do.
Yeah, that's true.
Awful people.
It's April 8th, 2010, and this is the Idle Thumbs Podcast, Episode 5.
And I'm Chris Remo.
I'm Steve Gaynor.
And I'm Jake Rodkin. And we're here to talk to you about video and computer games.
And
expos.
And expos.
You
went to
might
one.
call this podcast an expose.
Hey, we went to the Penny Arcade Expo East.
All right,
in
that's
Boston.
cool.
Jake
How
and I
was
went
it?
to it.
Yeah, because I didn't go to it.
No, you didn't, Steve.
You would have hated it. They had video games and computer games and people sort of talking about and playing them.
Did they have other stuff too?
There were some board games.
Yeah, you're right. It's a good thing I didn't go.
Yeah, you hate all of those
All
things.
those things are what Steve despises.
Yeah.
This podcast is self-flagellation for
It
Steve
had
Gaynor.
people who made a BioShock game there,
Wait, who? What?
so you'd hate them.
Yeah. Man. Yep. Well, I hope you guys had a good time.
I did. Knowing that I was indulging in things that Steve Gaynor hates makes me happy. So it was a pretty good weekend.
Just kind of to spite me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty much just, we kept seeing cool thing after cool thing and being like, oh man, Steve would hate this shit, so I'm having fun.
I'm glad I could enhance your enjoyment of this special.
No, I don't know. PAX was cool. Chris and I, we both went to the thing, Seattle one, the real one.
Yeah,
Whoa.
last year. Or for the last couple
last
years,
few
I guess,
years.
yeah.
And you can tell that this is the first time that they did one in Boston because it seemed like a lot more people showed up than they were expecting to show
Yeah.
up.
Oh, really?
I mean, there are more people there than at any of the Seattle ones.
Yeah.
And in a smaller
But
venue.
I guess there are more big cities closer to Boston.
I think
There's
there
also
are more
pent-up demand.
There's more East Coast dudes who have not had a dorky game convention to go to ever. So you could tell that the show floor felt a little empty. Like, if you like Antec cases and Patriot memory, they were on the show floor. And that's sort of...
you meant there weren't enough exhibitors.
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
it seemed like...
I thought you meant empty of the people you were just saying there were too
No,
many
no,
of.
there were a lot of
it
those
seemed
people.
like compared to the level that PAX West Coast has gotten to, which is almost...
Like all the major publishers.
Yeah, all
for
the major
most
publishers
part.
show up. But this
Yeah.
show, the floor was open to some guys who probably usually wouldn't get
Right.
blue space. But it gave the impression that next year it'll be a pretty ridiculous thing.
And there were a number of indie guys on the show floor.
Yeah,
which
that was a really cool thing, is that dudes
Yeah.
could get a floor.
Yeah.
We actually played a fair amount of one of the games that was surprisingly good, I thought, was Joe Danger.
Joe Danger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I checked that out at GDC. I didn't actually play it, but it looked really nice.
Yeah.
And
it's
it
cool.
looked like it could be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It looked like What was I thinking?
It's
looked
Excitebike and LittleBigPlanet, but also kind of Rad Racer a little.
Well, I mean,
it's
honestly
like,
the most direct comparison I
Sonic.
think is Trials in terms of stuff
Trials?
that's available right now.
that is what I was
Really?
thinking.
'Cause-
It looks kind of like a cross between Excitebike and Trials
Yeah,
HD.
that's
but
basically what it is.
the level creation stuff is straight up LittleBigPlanet though. Where
Yeah,
you,
but in
I
terms
didn't
of the
even know
core
there was
mechanics
any
of the
level
game, I
creation
mean,
stuff.
that's
I guess core mechanics is totally Trials and Excitebike, but yeah.
and that's
But
what
then
I
you
mean.
can
That's
also build your own tracks and stuff like Little Big
It's
Planet.
very LittleBigPlanet where you've just got the motorcycle guy and you press a button and it sort of like the camera pulls out one level and then you can suddenly start dropping blocks and cars and switch tracks in, and it seems to have community infrastructure to like LittleBigPlanet.
it's really the
What platform is it for?
PS3 right now,
I think
and
it's PS3 and PC, or is it just PSN right now?
I think technically, I think it's one of those cases where they're developing it for a few systems and are officially.
it's just whatever licensing and
whatever
releases they can
exactly-
work out, it'll
yeah,
come out for.
exactly,
They
yeah.
confirmed PSN at PAX though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the level editing stuff is great. You can, I forget how exactly similar LittleBigPlanet is to this because I haven't done it in a while. But you can have your guy flying through the air and then pause it and put a ramp right under where you can see he's about to land, and then press start, and you're immediately like in real time back to where you were. So you can, I mean, it's an incredibly cool level of real time editing, no matter what
And
situation you're in anytime.
the different stuff they were demoing in terms of the different objectives that you can author into a level of, I mean, it's all various Tony Hawk or I guess kind of Trials-y stuff of like collect a chain of stars or collect the word danger or hit these targets or run a thing in a certain period of time. But the thing that I thought was nice was that you can have multiple objectives going on at the same time. That was the thing that I thought was really cool.
And one big difference to Trials, I mean, it's a side-scrolling game like Trials, but there are 3 levels of depth, like LittleBigPlanet, kind of.
Yeah.
And except more, they're kind of more discreetly obvious in this game.
They are like
because
the
they're
3
actual
tracks of an
lanes.
Excitebike track, but you can switch between them.
Yeah.
So the demo that the guy had was a level that they had authored where at the beginning, if you end up going left, you'll hit the first coin in the coin objective, and then you sort of end up racing through that track. But then you have to keep staying on the correct switches to collect the coin achievement. But then if you go back and play through the same level again,
you can go different directions.
Yeah, there were
different
4
objectives.
I thought that was nice.
It is really cool.
It made me pleased.
Yep.
I also like racing a bike with physics and going on a loop.
Huh.
I like all those things.
I mean,
They're all fun things.
Visually, it looked really nice. I mean, it had
does
like
look
this
quite
very
nice,
bright.
It looks like a super pretty Excitebike, basically.
Yeah, but it has a really nice, just sort of welcoming aesthetic. I like the style.
It's pretty.
Who makes it or is making it?
Some dudes in the UK who quit jobs at bigger game industry things, I believe. Yeah.
Yes.
I forget what they're called, but it's a new team. It's a small indie new dude team.
I guess I was wondering where they were from, and they're from the UK.
They're
so there you go.
United Kingdom.
And yeah, it is. It seems like guys who came from AAA developers and decided we'll make a thing.
Yeah.
And they made a motorcycle game
They did that.
with motorcycles.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah. I don't know what else we did.
I played Crackdown 2 when I was there, but
What happened?
it was
How was
fine.
it?
I don't know. They had the multiplayer mode on display, which is just not what I care about at all. I mean, the multiplayer co-op is fun, but they had like just straight up deathmatch, which was just it was fine. I mean, you run around and you can climb up things and shoot at guys and jump around.
Sweet.
But it's, I mean,
but it's not about exploration and stuff.
Yeah,
like
there's
what you'd be looking
none of the
for.
actual stuff I enjoyed about Crackdown really exists in a round-based deathmatch.
Yeah.
So
that sucks.
It was not my favorite way to experience that game, but I guess they wanted something that they could quickly get people in, have them do a timed or point-based thing, and then get them out.
Yeah.
But
have you played it at all aside from that?
No, this is my only exposure to it. Yeah.
I mean, how is the feel and stuff?
It felt fine. It felt basically like Crackdown.
Nice.
Surprisingly
Probably
similar,
good.
considering the fact that it's a different team. And
well, it has a number of the same people, though, right?
yeah, but it's a different studio, and it was it seems like there was a bit of acrimony between. Well, it's like Microsoft basically owns the license to it.
Yeah.
And wanted Real Time Worlds to do a sequel, and Real Time Worlds was like, "Oh, we can't do it right now. We're pretty much all hands on deck on APB, so we'll do it. We'll do it in a little bit." And Microsoft's like, "Nope, we need it now. We're going to set up this new studio like just next to you.
We're going to set up Crackdown 2 games.
They're going to do it." Yeah. So the new studio is Ruffian Games, and it's got some people from Real Time Worlds and a bunch of new people who didn't come from Real Time Worlds. And it seems like it's a bit of a touchy subject because I interviewed one of the guys from Ruffian, and he didn't seem to want to talk about that. I don't know. I don't think there's been a lot of contact between the two studios. So it's kind of an odd thing. I'm looking forward to playing it, but the stuff they allowed us to play was not
worthless.
It was just it was not what I
good work, Jake.
So much care about in Crackdown.
Yeah.
So
I mean, were you playing that stuff in the same like city that the single player game will take place in?
Yeah, I think the way they do the multiplayer levels is they're just gated off sections of the city. I think is how
like
it
with
works.
Gates.
With like big
force fields,
big invisible force field walls. Yeah.
Did the city seem like it was well built and stuff like that?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it was like just a big shipyard with a bunch of crates and stuff. So
oh, good.
Yeah. It was,
all right. That sounds compelling.
Yeah.
Cool. Great. We had an Idle Thumbs get together.
We did that.
We can talk about that.
I'm looking at the fucking fruits of that get together right now.
Yeah, there's on this table where we're recording, there's a plush puffin.
A plush puffin?
Puffin.
A plush puffin.
Which is decked out in wizard garb.
Yeah.
Amazingly.
This is true.
Yes.
He showed up.
This was given to us at the meet by one of the Idle Thumbs listeners who, on the forum, if you are a forum member, goes by Soul Chicken. And he apparently he was at a convenience store or something, I guess, and saw this stuffed puffin, and also saw, like, Jake, did you understand what he was saying?
It sounded like he also saw a wizard outfit for the puffin nearby.
Was it intended for the puffin?
I don't know. I don't know if it was intended for the puffin or for some other toy.
Yeah, they were purchased separately. The costume and the puffin were not bought as one unit.
Unfortunately, no one has yet manufactured an official wizard puffin.
Yeah.
Well, this one looks pretty official.
I know.
All told.
It does look
the
like
final
they go
product
together.
is convincing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the meet was fun. I would say there were, 40-something people in there total over the course of the evening. Yeah.
We enjoyably filled up half of some pub that wasn't quite expecting us to do that, even though we warned them ahead of time.
Because when I made the reservation, I was like, 15, 20 people,
40 people.
Yeah.
It was good.
100,000 people.
I think actually towards the end of the night, they stopped letting people in because we had filled up the place.
Good.
Like people were, in fact, I think some people actually left so that other people could come in.
It was a Thumbs takeover.
Yeah, we fucking took over.
Hostile takeover of some
what it was
pub.
called. But it was fun. It was a good time.
Pub.
The Wizard's Wizard Lair?
The
That was what you guys said the last time.
I think it was actually the puffin and the wizard.
The puffin and wizard, yeah.
The puffin and wizard, yeah.
The wizard and wand.
That's probably a thing from a thing that I don't know.
Whatever.
I'm not cool. Or
that wasn't a reference. I'm just bullshitting.
It sounds like you were referencing something.
Well, he wasn't. Owned.
So you guys loved PAX the most.
It was fun. It was a good time.
Cool. It's good. Maybe I'll go next year.
Me. Steve is shaking his head.
The readers couldn't hear it.
But they know. Now they know. Jake and I played a lot of Marble Madness, sadly.
Oh, yeah. Didn't you say the guy who made the music for Marble Madness hung out with you as well or something?
No.
What?
Mark Cerny, who created Marble Madness.
Oh, okay.
Randomly. Okay, so Jake and I played a bunch of Marble Madness at
because
PAX.
you had never played Marble Madness.
I had never played it before.
And then we became accidentally addicted to it over the weekend.
Yeah.
Did you play it with the trackball and everything?
No, it was the NES version. We kept going.
Oh, okay.
We were looking for something to do because we wanted to go to some panel on game audio or something, and it was full.
Completely full.
And then the next room over was retro game free play. So we checked out Marble Madness because the guy's like, "Oh, we got Marble Madness," and then I remember that game was really
That's what the guy
fun.
was like.
We got Marble Madness.
Oh, we got Marble Madness.
Yeah, he said, "We got Marble Madness," and then smoke started billowing out front of the table, and then we were in the marble world.
Nice. Wow.
Yeah, it was
I should have
crazy.
gone to PAX.
Yeah, it was fucking crazy.
It's like when we went to California Extreme and you spent 80% of the time playing Klax.
Yeah. It was fucking fun.
It was actually very similar to that. But except
fuck you, Steve. That's
you
what
can
it's
play
for.
that shit on a PSP. Or a goddamn whatever. Yeah, they've released that thing in a bunch of collections.
Well, I don't
it
want
was
to
just
buy
hilarious. You paid $30 or $50 or whatever to go to that thing, and then you just played Klax for like 6 hours.
Klax.
You were playing games for 6 hours.
Yeah, all of them.
I played some of them.
We might have flown to Boston to play a solid 3, 4, 5 hours of
It
Marble
wasn't
Madness.
fucking 5 hours because they kick you off.
You're right.
After
It was
45 minutes.
It was 2 hours.
Yeah, we
of
probably
Marble
played about an
Madness.
hour and a half, 2 hours of Marble Madness.
Good work.
Over the course of 3 days, though.
So then You met the master of Marble Madness.
Yeah, well, because we were
after you were
playing it and
transported
we were
into Marble
commenting
World.
when we were at PAX. We were commenting how cool the music was, and I got really interested in it and found some of it on YouTube later. And then I was like back in my office the day after coming back, and Mark Cerny, who I recognized by sight as the guy who created Marble Madness, like just showed up in our office for some random reason. He had a meeting or something.
And you're like, oh man, I just played Marble Madness.
And I was wondering, well, yeah. And so I talked. He's a super, super nice guy. And we talked for a while, and he was saying that there was 2 guys who did the music, and it actually took them 6 months to make the music just for the first 2 tracks because they had to figure out like how to do it on the
Whatever
like,
weird
hardware.
Yeah, hardware. Yeah. But it's really good music.
The music of the first 2 levels,
the first
especially,
2
is like
is
the
the
most
best.
badass stuff.
Yeah.
I love that stuff.
Yeah, it is
I can't place it, but I will listen to it if you remind me.
Yeah, you'd be
The
pleased.
second level is like boo doo 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 doo. It's pretty good.
That's also the music from Sonic the Hedgehog. One of those.
But it's a fun game, and Mark Cerny's
Some sort
cool.
of marble zone, actually. Weird. Anyway,
Yes. So PAX was fun.
oh, the other thing sorry, I'm going to say one more thing about
go ahead.
PAX,
Do
which
it.
is we played a little bit in the PC free play area as well. Just this.
TF2.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about TF2, but at previous PAXs, there have been enough things on the floor that are just events going on that I never bothered to go over to the gaming free play areas.
Right.
But going to that PC free play was probably the first time that I've been in a LAN environment in a billion years.
Yeah.
LANs are fucking fun.
It's really fun. Yeah.
Yeah,
They are.
that's all. A reminder to me that LANs are good. Fact.
It was fun. It was a good time.
I think that's all that I had to say about that.
We've done a little bit of LAN gaming at the office. We played an Irrational Classic SWAT 4 LAN style.
Yeah.
That shit's fun. Because it's all about like teamwork, and it's really kind of, I don't know, simmy and a little bit clunky and stuff. So, you can get into those sort of classic situations of encounter spiraling out of control and you all just go crazy and start spraying bullets everywhere.
Right.
And doing that like where you can hear guys in the same room is the best.
Yep.
Yes.
That is the best.
The thing that was weird about the PAX one though is that it was the first time that I'd been at a LAN in a long time where I didn't know everyone. Like I've played TF at work, but this was the first time in a while where
Like a LAN party.
Yeah, you say some stupid shit out loud, and then you look over and 2 computers away is the guy that you just blew away, who you don't really know.
Yeah.
It's really enjoyable.
Well, you don't know at all.
Well, you don't know at all, but I mean, at PAX, it was, I think, the last time. Oh, maybe you weren't there. Maybe it was just Doug and I. We were playing, and TF2 had calmed down because they started transitioning the PC free play over to other areas. So there were just basically a few rows in the back of people who had been playing that game. So, but none of us realized it till about halfway through the match. Then we all sort of started looking around, and
There's no one else there.
no, just everyone who was yelling all the stupid bullshit into microphones that you always yell when you play over the internet. It's like, wait. And then someone just said, who's playing on the server? Please put up your hands. And it was just like, brrr, like, oh, okay. I guess we can all see each other.
Yeah, no, that is a weird thing.
It was weird. It was good.
I haven't had
You all
that
just kind
experience
of
in a
got
long
creeped
time.
out and just stood up slowly and left.
Or you just finish the entire rest of the game not saying a single word. And silence hunched over your screen.
Yep. Yeah, it's good. Games.
Them.
Those games.
Yeah. That's them games
That's
that
them.
I've heard so much about.
Okay.
The video
Stop to
games.
this.
Stop.
Silence.
One video game that came out this week that I have
You played one?
put a couple hours into so far, not tons of time, but is Plain Sight, which is a multiplayer PC game based on little robots with swords that jump around and blow themselves up
In space.
in space with, and this is the best part for me, relative gravity. So, it's got that Mario Galaxy style thing where you can jump around from like body to body, like structure to structure.
Weird orbs and
in and out
Crazy
of gravity
abstract
and orbit.
spaces.
Yeah.
I mean, crazy abstract constructions floating in space.
But
You can
unlike
go on
Mario
every side of
Galaxy,
them.
you can't fucking fall off and die.
Yeah,
So
no, it's true. You
this
can
game
never
is
die
just
by
you
that. Yeah.
hovering around weird things and then
There's some
sorting
levels
dudes.
of Mario Galaxy where you can't fall off, right?
That's true, but the worst parts of Mario Galaxy are the parts where there's stupid,
Where you can break into
arbitrary
escape velocity
platforming
and then
deaths.
just die for no reason. Yeah.
Yep.
That sucks. This game does not feature that, which is nice. And you can start doing really cool stuff where you like the way the game works is you kill your enemy by hitting them with a sword in close combat, and you do that by locking onto them and then boosting towards them. And so you can get...
Sounds like it's right up your alley.
It is. It's right up my alley. Boosting and jumping. So... Boost. You can start doing cool things with the combination of the jumping and the locking on.
So you're a robot.
You are a robot where you can jump around and lock onto people and use that as momentum to fly through the air in a much longer distances than you can just by jumping. It's really awesome and fun.
Sweet.
And it was a couple of the people who worked on it are UK Thumbs, Idle Thumbs crew members.
So by playing this game, you're supporting some Idle Thumbs people, maybe.
Yeah. I think that makes it a good
Also, your
decision.
robots flying around in space sorting each other. So
on top of a Red Hot Chili Peppers tape.
Yeah, for some reason, one of the levels is set on, like one of the CTF levels is set on like 2 cassette tapes.
Are they both Red Hot Chili Peppers? Oh, it's probably because it's a red team base. It's probably why it says Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Oh, yeah, I don't know what the blue
The other one
says.
probably says Blue
Oyster Cult. Yeah, that'll be my guess. All right. That makes some amount of sense.
Riddle
anyway.
solved.
Oh, man.
But yeah, they're 2 cassette tapes floating in space with like the ribbon coming out of them, and you can jump around.
It's a pretty indie game, like small studio, but most of the budget went into licensing those band names and putting them on those cassettes.
Yep. They needed that high profile.
Yeah.
Need the brand association. But yeah, I was watching you play, Chris, and it looked really nice graphically. I mean, I liked like
very clean.
You like robots?
Well, it's one of those games. There's a few of them. Like there's that one freaking Quake 2 mod I can't think of, but it's another kind of thing where you jump around and leave a trail behind yourself. That I can't remember.
Tron.
You wish. No, but anyway, you're flying through space and you have all of this like air control, and it leaves a trail behind yourself. So when you're just observing the world, you see all these kind of interwoven, abstract lines that are floating in the air, and it's really neat looking.
I liked it in plain sight. All that stuff is aesthetically cool, but it's less noticeable in CTF. But when it's sort of free for all deathmatch, the point of that stuff is so you can find other players. Because in third person, the little robots disappear, but
that's actually super useful in CTF because when someone steals your flag,
does their color change?
What happens is you can see their like if blue team steals red flag, you see the solid blue trail from the blue player and then a sparkly red trail from the red flag.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's actually really necessary.
Yeah, I like that stuff in the deathmatch as well because the more people you've killed, the more power you or the more valuable you are.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you cash out by killing yourself. So you see the lame guys have the sort of the cooler colors, and the more powerful guys have the more bright, hot, burning ones. So if you see a trail somewhere in a level that is intense, you can follow it and find a dude and murder him.
A large dude, because you grow physically also as you...
Really?
Did you play the dinosaur mode?
No, I didn't.
There's some mode where one guy's a giant dinosaur and everyone else are small.
I've seen screenshots of that.
Ones.
Yeah.
So that's good.
It's a fun game.
There's a dinosaur in
fun video game.
And a robot.
It's on Steam and Impulse and all the other download services, basically. Although I think it actually has Steam integration.
Yeah,
so the achievements and everything
stuff.
are all Steam based.
Yeah. It seems like if you are into just sort of like outright pure movement mechanics, it's very
if you like
exciting.
Jumping around and robots.
If you're me.
Well, but I mean, there's jumping around, and then there's like this crazy abstract
it has the
flying,
sort of like soaring
floating,
stuff.
Spinning all this crazy stuff.
I mean, it's got all the cool stuff you can do, right? Where you
it's got all the cool stuff you can do.
Well, all the stuff that comes along with relative gravity and at its best, like just missed the ground deliberately so that you swing around to the other side.
Right, so you get the acceleration.
And get the slingshot. Yeah, exactly. It's one of those things where that basic mechanic opens up a lot of secondary movement mechanics that flow out of it. And I love stuff like that.
Cool.
So, it's cool.
It's the plainest sight.
It is the plainest of all sights. Games.
Are we done talking for right now?
Yeah, we can take a break.
Okay.
Video game.
The list of games discussed is Joe Danger, Crackdown 2, Marble Madness, Klax, SWAT Force, and Plain Sight. So
SWAT 4, not SWAT
4. Sorry, I don't know games. SWAT 4, the number 4?
Yep. Yeah.
Are there 1, 2, and 3 as well?
Yep.
Are they all bi-irrational?
No, just 4.
They just made that one?
It's Police Quest SWAT.
I think it was Police Quest SWAT 1 and 2, and then just straight up SWAT.
SWAT 3 and then SWAT 4.
Crazy. That's funny that it started off as a Police Quest game.
Yep, it started off as like the tactical spin-off of the Adventure Game series. Yeah.
Crazy.
Well, not quite Yeah, Police Quest SWAT 1 was an FMV game.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
And then SWAT 2 was isometric.
SWAT 3D.
But yeah, it's
SWAT.
Yeah, it's SWAT 4.
SWAT 4000.
Not SWAT Force.
I don't know games. I thought it was a force.
Yeah.
It was a police force.
No, it's a Police Quest.
It's a police quest SWAT Force 4.
Yes, exactly. Because it's like Modern Warfare. It's Police Quest SWAT
Modern
Force
War Force 4.
Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy 2, Jedis.
4 Force.
4 SWATs.
Team SWAT.
Ford Force.
Star
It's sponsored by Ford.
By Ford. It's Ford. You ride around in a
SWAT
Taurus.
Ford Force.
SWAT Ford Force 4.
Oh, man.
Taurus LE.
How you guys doing?
Doing okay.
It's good.
I was just playing some SWAT Ford Force 4 the other day.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
How was it? Did it have good Ford physics on the
Ford
pickup
physics
truck?
are pretty good. Yeah, they've got...
That's the forward Ford
forces,
physics.
yeah, exactly. The forward force applied to the Ford.
Oh,
pretty good.
The Ford physics forces.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the Ford physics forward force.
They've got 4 forces acting on, because it's 4 wheels, so
Yeah.
4 forward physics forces are operating simultaneously.
What?
Horrible.
It's just for fun.
Yeah, I know.
It is a fun game, yeah.
Yeah.
All those forces.
Well, the 4 of them.
4 of them,
4
yeah.
discrete forces.
Yeah, forward forces.
Right.
Operating on your Ford.
Focus.
What else you guys been doing or playing this week?
Oh,
or
video
last
games.
2 weeks? Lots of weeks.
More StarCraft II.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. I picked
Steve's gonna head this one off with the PAX.
Kill it. I picked Grand Theft Auto 4 Lost and Damned back up.
Did you beat it?
I had already beaten it, but I'd also
Did you win it?
Yeah, I won it.
That's all I care about.
But
Get the high score.
The reason that was played instead of like the base game or whatever is because in Lost and Damned they introduced multiplayer co-op mode where you can play with I don't know, up to 4 people, something like that, and the game just gives you random missions that you can just do, and in basically an infinite stream, and so it's like you and your friends spawn in and it's Lost and Damned, so you're like biker
didn't we
dudes or
play
whatever.
some of this?
I think
we did,
might have a
actually,
little bit, yeah. And they give you just random objectives like there are armored cars driving around, go rob them or whatever. And the reason I mention it is because yes, it's fun and it's cool. People should play it.
That's good.
It's really nice to have like objectives in co-op because in GTA 4 base game it's like get in and fuck around and do nothing or competitive, but there was an interesting sort of like emergent strategy that became clear just when me and one other person were playing, because basically some of the objectives you get are static and you can put like your little objective marker on it and it draws a line to it that's like the best way to get there, but some of them are like guys that are driving around the city and you can't, like, the objective marker can't move, so if you put it somewhere the guy keeps driving and now your little line isn't fucking accurate anymore, and so it's hard to track those guys. But the strategy that kind of arose is like you get in a car or on a bike and your friend gets in with you, so they're just sitting in the car with you, and they open up the map, on the pause screen and just stay in that mode and constantly update the objective to be tracking the guy while the other person drives.
So you had a navigator.
Yeah, it was like one of those sort of, RTS / 3D action games where like somebody, like a Battlefield 2 and stuff like that, where like one guy is the commander and they basically spend the whole game in the tactical map and then everybody else is playing in real time.
You unlocked GTA 4's secret mission commander class.
Yeah, it was really interesting because it was like one person is looking at this high level abstraction of the gameplay, and you're both vocally with the voice chat stuff and by updating the objective marker, you're guiding the driver to the spot, and then when you see you're getting near your objective, you back out of the map screen so that you can shoot the guy or whatever. Yeah. So it was really interesting and it was a lot of fun.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Did you drive the car or use the map?
We traded off. It was fun both ways.
Good.
It was cool. So I did that.
Sweet.
Video games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Games.
Yeah. I've been doing more of making them this last couple weeks than playing them, unfortunately.
Anything exciting on that front?
No.
Yeah, same.
I touched an editor.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah. I input some
I was using
freaking
some video game creation tools.
objects. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Not good to talk about on a podcast, though.
It could be, but not right now.
No. What about you, Chris?
God,
Want to tell us about StarCraft II?
I could talk for like 1 minute about StarCraft II.
I hear you went further up the ladder.
Well, depends how you look at it. Nick and I have moved up to a higher ladder, the gold ladder, but we are hovering around the bottom of this ladder now.
Were you, Nick, pleased by the fact that you were on gold ladder?
Well, I don't think we actually ever looked at it in the way that you probably mean.
Jeff Game Gold Ladder.
Yeah.
Ladder fold.
Yeah, it never actually occurred to us.
All
to
right,
be
well,
honest.
now it has, so you
Yeah.
better play that the fuck up.
Yeah, what happened was Blizzard reset the entire BattleNet structure a week ago to test what it was like.
The BattleNet gold ladder?
Yeah, all the ladders. And so when we did our placement matches, we placed into gold this time.
Nice.
And so we're like, oh man, we're on gold. Great, because we were on silver before.
Yeah.
And so the problem is,
Great gold.
it was a great gold
Gold
game
ladder.
ladder.
I'm done now. What?
Thanks, Jake.
We have this wizard puffin on the table.
It's just egging you on.
Yeah.
It's like memes. Say them!
It's a wizard. It's casting that.
Yeah, it's
information into his
casting.
brain.
Casting meme.
A pod.
Yes.
Meme bath.
Yeah.
Meme pod.
Cone of meme.
That's true.
So yeah, we placed into the gold league, and we were kind of excited about that at first until we played several days in a row where we just got our asses beat, and every time we would move up a little bit, we would immediately lose like 2 games in a row and go back down again. And it's been fucking hard. But we actually in the last 2 days have won most of the games we played, and we're now starting the slow trek up the gold ladder. So we're in like, you know, place 80 something now out of 100.
Yeah.
So we're slowly moving up, but we were holding up the rear for a while. So
I was reading an interesting thing about this.
Yeah.
About gold ladder?
Shut up.
Whoa! Whoa!
Sorry.
Scoops.
What was the interesting thing that
Have you ever seen there's a blog called, I think, psychologyofgames.com.
I don't think so, no.
It's written by, I think, a guy named Jamie Madigan.
Oh yeah, I know Jamie Madigan. Yeah,
Okay, so
not personally, but
yeah, but I mean, I think he, has a degree in psychology or is a psychology grad student or something, and writes about how psychology relates to video game stuff. And one of the things that he wrote recently was about how essentially, I forget what the phenomenon was called, but that there is an actual known phenomenon that is like what we've talked about with StarCraft II or like Street Fighter or something, where the more games in a row you win, the less likely you are to win the next one, because it has a direct effect on how
really?
you play.
Yeah.
Where it basically
you get more confidence and kind of that kind of thing.
I think it's actually more along the lines of you start to like be more kind of stressed out about it, like
that's
you
definitely
yeah, but I mean,
the stakes get higher. You're pressing your luck basically by
and it's that whole idea of flow and being in the zone,
Right.
and kind of like doing well because you're not thinking
Please
about
pronounce the name of the man who proposed flow theory.
I don't even know the name
Oh,
of the
okay.
man. I
'Cause
forget.
it's like,
I'm sorry.
It's like 85 letters, and most
Yeah.
of them are consonants.
Right, he's
And,
like Polish or something.
Yeah.
Right?
I just wanted to see if you.
Sorry, I don't even remember his name. I
don't either.
couldn't
That's
pronounce it. But where it's basically like you just start paying attention to stuff you don't need to be paying attention to because you're just so focused on wanting to win, whereas the more relaxed you are, the more likely you are to win, and that's the state you're in when the stakes are lower. So anyway, yeah.
Well, there's definitely something, I mean, and that definitely applies in different ways. So that's the main reason I play 2v2 with Nick, is because, so when Nick was, like, our schedules don't always overlap. Like, when I was at PAX, we just fell in the ladder because I wasn't there to play.
You spent all of PAX lamenting that you weren't playing StarCraft.
I may have lamented it a few times. But then when I got
wish
back,
I could be playing
the
StarCraft II instead of this social special event.
Fuck you.
Why do I have to keep playing Marble Madness? Why are you still talking, Chris?
Anyway, so
We're not at PAX anymore.
yeah, I know. I don't know why I'm saying those things about Marble Madness. Weird. But actually, the reason I was bummed at PAX is because literally, like, an hour after I left for the airport, Blizzard reset the ladder. So that was when all the placement games were starting and people were getting placed. So I left right at the time when it was like the one time when the ladder actually starts fresh and everything. But anyway, so whatever. I then after getting back from PAX, a couple days later, Nick was doing something or other, and so he wasn't able to play that evening. And I played some single player games for the first time in like a month probably, and that was 100% what you're describing. Like, I won my first 2 games, and then after winning 2 games in a row, I was like, literally my heart was fucking pounding. Like, I was more stressed out than I can remember being in my life at any time in recent memory.
Yeah.
And I lost my next game, and it was like the biggest relief. And then after that, I went on to win my next game after that. And then what's funny is, so how it works is you play 5 placement matches, and then you're placed in a ladder. And after completing my 4th placement game, I did not have the nerve to play the 5th one and be placed. And so I haven't played single players since then, or not single player, but 1v1.
Yeah.
But that is the stress of competitive StarCraft is mitigated by about 1,000% by playing with a partner.
Yeah,
It's just because you have someone
because you're not solely responsible.
Exactly.
For whether
if you
win,
fuck up, they can help you out, and vice versa.
Yeah.
And you start developing a rapport, and it's much less insane.
It's just an interesting psychological phenomenon
is,
where like the actual core issue, as far as I've read about it, is not is the result of you being stressed out, which is just that you try to use your conscious mind to overcome the problem more than normal, and so when you're stressed out, you're just like focusing a lot. But I mean, it extends to I've read other stuff about, like, for instance, accuracy, like people in like shooting contests or like archery contests or whatever. They did sort of studies where it's like one person intentionally tries to, concentrate very much on exactly where their shot is going to land versus someone else just sort of does it by muscle memory. And the harder someone's trying to concentrate on being accurate, the less accurate they are.
That's totally true. Yeah.
And it's just sort of what kind of stressors put you in that state. It can be anything, and in this case, it's just, oh man, I don't want to fuck it up because I'm about to place.
No, it's true. And there are definitely direct analogs to what you're describing with things like aim. I mean, stuff like practicing your build orders and, just having familiarity with the units. I mean, the more you're thinking about when, StarCraft is all about counters, basically. Like, StarCraft is a game about countering what your opponent's doing in a very direct way. So when he's building this type of unit, it's important that you counter with another kind of unit. And so as a result of that, it's very much about intelligence and scouting. And the less you have to consciously weigh in your mind this unit versus that unit, the better you'll do. Like, the more instinct driven that is, like, the less you will start actually consciously devoting brain cycles to thinking,
yourself.
Oh my God, that guy's building stalkers. What do I need to build to counter that?
Yeah.
Like, once you have played a number of games and you internalize that and you stop being so straightforward and thinking about it, the game becomes a lot less stressful. But it's easy to fall back onto your haunches and start like digging in and thinking too hard, basically.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting how it seems that as a principle, kind of like having split attention is actually superior, whatever form that takes, like if you're listening to music and you're concentrating half on the music and half on what's going on, or whatever,
That reminds me of something I read about StarCraft strategy years ago when I was playing StarCraft 1, and I was reading about, people like really high level. This was written by a really high level player, and he was saying, if you're going to listen to music, listen to the StarCraft music, because that music is written in such a way that there's like a melody to it and you can sort of follow it, but it's very like easily absorbed into your brain. Like, it's a very specific mix of like ambient and melodic. And it's like the right balance of not being too distracting, but also kind of having a grounding there for you. Yeah. It's like, I'm sure that was deliberate on Blizzard's part, but the guy was like, basically, like, if you don't have music that suits that exact goal, just listen to the StarCraft music because that's what it's for and it works. And that was interesting to me that somebody had like actually assigned that to in-game performance.
Well, I mean, it's similar to just like listening to like classical music, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So StarCraft is fun. It's a fun game.
Or like a musical.
It's not really like a musical.
Oh, it's like listening to a musical.
Oh, yeah, right. That's probably the best thing to do when you're doing anything that requires concentration. Yeah. Yes.
I know a game you've been playing, Jake. Yeah, you played a fucking video game, Jake. I saw it on your Xbox.
Yeah, but it's your game.
Yeah.
Well, so you played on PC and Xbox now?
Well, I guess I saw it on your.
You saw me
live
playing on a
profile.
live system, a live enabled.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
game.
But I saw it on my Xbox. You were playing it on your computer system.
That's the magic of Game for Windows Live.
I actually saw it on Xbox.com, and that's how I sent you a text message.
Worst. You were just browsing Xbox.com and saw that I was playing a game.
Yeah, and so I sent you a message through Xbox.com to your Windows Live account. Apparently,
You've pleased Allard.
Yeah, exactly.
the eyes of
like
Allard
a
are
Microsoft
staring
executive's
down.
The eyes of Allard are sort
dream.
of crinkled with a smile.
Xbox.com is pretty good.
It is good.
It's better for stuff like managing your friends list than actual Xbox.
And sending a message,
Games for Windows Live is shit for that because if you're not in
true.
the game, you can't send one. It's only got a
Well,
storefront.
you can from Xbox.com, hilariously.
Yeah.
You can go to the Xbox website and send a Games for Windows Live message.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How
Games
do
for Windows
you,
Live might be stupid.
Yeah, it's garbage. Your game uses it.
Yeah. I just wanted to know what you thought about the game, if you had any thoughts.
I'm
that's
not any
all.
further along than I was. I finished Popper's Drop. My train crashed.
Yeah, but I mean, that's further along than you were last time we were talking on a podcast.
So, like,
20
three
minutes.
really?
weeks ago, Jake has achieved 20 minutes of
Yeah, it's
game
like-
time.
Oh, that's right.
He's
Yeah,
like on
let's-
the same level
Oh
as
yeah,
he was
because you had
before.
picked up Jackie Rodkins
Jake,
when we had
you were
the.
horrible,
Oh, that's right.
by the way.
I forgot.
Fuck off.
You went in a weird hallway. That's all I know.
I love that hallway.
Which hallway?
The hallway in Popper's Drop that's dark and there's a flashlight. It made me really
yes.
happy.
Yeah.
I liked it. It turned into the Twilight Zone for 3 seconds.
Spoilers!
And I didn't kill the lady.
That's fine. If you don't want
Do you
to.
guys have stats on that? Do you track that somehow?
I mean, there's a secret achievement for if you don't kill anyone. So
If you don't kill any...
I got that achievement.
any of the story characters or the little sisters.
Okay.
Spoilers, that's a secret achievement in BioShock 2 that you could have looked up on GameFAQs if you wanted. But yeah, so I guess we know how
We
many.
looked it up for you on GameFAQs.
.com.
Yeah, but that one requires you to complete the game.
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
Much. I'm just sort of...
I don't think
Jake's a long way away from that.
No, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's...
we aren't using any of the software that tracks things deeper than achievements.
Okay.
Like there is stuff like that they have for like Halo and stuff. I mean, not just Halo, but
Yeah,
a number
Valve-
of
I know
more
Valve uses
cutting
the
edge
heck out of that
games.
stuff.
Yeah, are using what is it, XLSP or something like that, where they can do
There's just metrics monitoring.
Yeah, where they can track way more stuff than achievements, and they can do like silent, just like data update, like balance patch stuff without having to issue a title update and stuff like that. I think that stuff's going to be more common in the future.
for sure, yeah.
But that is not part of our infrastructure. So no, we don't know how many people
I'm always
did or
I'm
didn't
always
kill the
curious
lady.
about that stuff now that I know that game companies track that sort of information.
Yeah, I killed the lady because she was in my level. I was like, get out of my level. I'll shoot you.
And then you did.
Because I can.
Yeah.
But the
game lets you.
Leveled up security bots followed me around for a while.
That's true, which is pretty sweet,
They were my buds.
I must say.
Anyway, that game was played for about a half hour. And then some guy blew up my train, which was garbage.
Yeah.
I stopped playing
This
after
is just
that.
apparently every comment here is just a spoiler. We're not talking about the game. So, did you kill the lady? My train blew up. I went through a hallway. It was like the Twilight Zone. Like, what? What? This is horrible.
Sorry. We don't need to have any of this in the episode.
Video games.
Well,
I
you
don't
were
know.
Yeah,
dressed.
That's you.
Oh, hello. It's me, video games. Hey! That's me turning on.
Hi, everybody.
That was made of tape.
Hello. Well,
What? That's me? Hey!
I think so.
It's me, games!
Isn't that what you sound like?
Yeah.
All right.
It's pretty accurate to yourself.
That's
Well,
true.
reader mail?
Well, I played another game.
Fuck.
Oh!
Sorry, I know you hate games and people playing them.
God damn it.
I hate video games.
That's
Guy.
oh shit.
Well, I hate Steve Gaynor.
Oh man,
Well, I love you.
it's a weird podcast.
You're a weird guy, and this podcast is your fucking fault.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
You created this.
Yeah.
You bought these microphones.
We're in your goddamn apartment. You have no one but yourself to blame for this
Jake's
travesty.
idea too.
I don't think it was.
It was. It was equally Jake and my
No,
idea.
Jake just went along with it because he wanted you to be happy, Chris.
Jesus.
I'm sorry that we have. This is an intervention.
Yeah, this. Jesus Christ.
Our readers are here to say that you have a problem, and they're not going to let you
my
keep going
problem is
on
what?
this
I
way.
do too many podcasts? I think our readers would disagree with that.
Your problem is podcasts.
Okay, just in general.
You're addicted to casts.
I am.
I don't know.
Your cast lust.
I guess that's true. I guess I have cast lust. Sweet.
If you want to participate in this intervention, write into questions@idlethumbs.net.
Tell Chris what his fucking problem is.
Oh,
Tell
this
Chris-
inbox is going to be horrible
It's
for
like-
a week.
More songs. We need to put more songs in the podcast.
Oh, don't give them ideas.
So you played a fucking game.
I did.
So Chris, you played a video game.
So what game did you play, Chris?
I started playing Neptune's Pride, which is a browser-based space strategy game.
It just sounds like a
Wow.
BioShock level.
It is by a guy who made BioShock.
Oh,
And some other dudes, I think, who also worked on BioShock.
Neptune's Bounty was a BioShock.
that's true.
It's by, what is it? Iron Helmet Games?
Yeah, I believe so.
I think, yeah. Something Helmet. I think Iron Helmet. It's
Game helmet.
video game helmet.
Games.
Games studio. So some guys formerly of Irrational, I think Irrational Australia specifically, have made a company that is focused on kind of old school space strategy games, or old school strategy games, and their first one is Space. And
It sounds like your kind of game.
yeah, for sure. It's really interesting. It's a browser-based real-time game, but it's the
In
time
space.
scale is incredibly long. So once, even though it's real-time, one cycle of the game takes about 24 hours, and so everything you can kind of sign in and give orders at any time, and the game just keeps chugging along.
So it's persistent
slowly.
even when you're not.
Exactly.
opening
Yeah.
it.
And so a game takes, multiple days or weeks or months even to play, depending on, the settings you choose and the speed of the game you set and everything.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like a 4X game, like, Masters of Orion or Star Control or something.
It seems like it's definitely influenced
but in
by
a
those.
long-term, slow real-time, yeah. And it's really interesting. I've only played, I started playing a game with some dudes from the internet. And,
Nice.
Yep, the internet. And actually, Nick is in the game too. Nick is one of the dudes in the game.
Ah.
And
By the way, I wanted to say congratulations to Nick.
oh yeah, was there anything else you wanted?
Nick.
Oh.
Please carry on.
So I started playing it about 12 hours ago, and so
So it's going on right now.
And nothing
it is
has
going on
happened
right
yet.
now. Things started to happen. I finished researching my first technology about two or 3 hours ago. So my ships are faster now.
Nice. Now they're only going to take 18 hours to get to another
Yeah,
star.
I think my first ship is probably arriving at the star around now.
Have you acquired Neptune's bounty?
I have not yet secured his bounty.
But that's not in this game.
Oh,
Oh, I mean his kingdom. No, that's the
Pride.
mini golf at Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk.
I'm already imbued with.
I wanna
Neptune's
go there.
pride.
You want to go to Neptune's kingdom?
Yeah. Do some mini golf down at Santa Cruz Boardwalk.
Yeah, they got laser tag.
I never done laser tag there. They have a nice arcade.
Yeah, their laser tag is shit though.
Is it?
Yeah, it's all right.
I'm not that surprised.
Neptune's pride, however, is what you're talking about.
So are you
Yes.
proud of it, Chris?
I contain Neptune's pride. Yes. It's interesting though. I don't entirely know what any of my decisions mean yet, because
that's how it is in space.
that is how it is in space.
That's the rules of space. No one
Right.
knows.
No one knows anything. But I'm curious to see how it'll play out. Next time we do a podcast, a lot of things will have happened, and I can say what they are.
The next time we do a podcast, 3 things will have happened.
Yeah. But it seems like one of those games where it will reach a point where everyone starts actually interacting with each other, and people are getting in battles over star systems, and your technologies are upgrading. Like the thing is, right when it starts, everything you're doing, every single action in the game is starting from square one at the same time. But obviously different things take different amounts of time to do. So the longer the game goes on, the more things are starting and stopping at overlapping points instead of all at the same time. So I don't know how really that plays out yet, but I'm curious to see how
What
it
is the
goes.
graphical presentation of this game?
It's a kind of 2D like map view.
Like
so,
a map.
Like it's flash based.
It's like a star
Some sort of vector
star chart.
lines.
Yeah,
and
it's
things?
all vector stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
It's nice and simple in what you need it to be, basically.
What you need when you need it.
What you want when you need what? Yes.
Reader mail?
Sure.
Wait, I didn't.
What do you guys think about Facebook games?
I have never played one. No, I played Scrabble for a while.
Yeah.
I played that zombie Facebook game.
What's that called? Or what is it about?
Zombies.
Zombies.
That was the...
It's not Zombie Wars or Zombie Town or Zombieville.
No, it was no, the one that everyone played that made them move games and apps onto a second page.
Oh, was that the one that made me stop using Facebook entirely because my entire feed was...
You've been bitten by a zombie.
Here's a zombie. Have a zombie. I bought you a gift in zombie game. Zombie bite.
Yeah, but...
Zombie goodbye? Was
Bite.
Oh, okay.
Zombie
goodbye.
good,
Zombie goodbye.
Zombie good bite.
Zombie goodbye.
Zombie Goodbye was the hit single that was attached to this game.
I just have this weird feeling like it makes me like I almost feel like the games that are the ones I like the most are kind of becoming an endangered species, where like single player immersive games are the main thing that I'm into, and they cost so much and they have so little inherent connectivity and kind of like saleability on those same lines. As like even the kinds of games I normally like to play, a lot of them are now like inherently co-op based to the point where it's hard to actually fully enjoy them if you don't have at least one other person to play them with. I don't know. It's just a strange feeling that I have because so much is like, if you're not making Facebook games, people are still like looking at Facebook integration and social everything. And it's like, I don't know. I tend to play games more the way that you like read a book, you know, where it's like, I want to sit down and concentrate on it and have it be a contained thing. I don't know. It's strange to see things going in that direction because it makes me wonder if like it's a strange world where the kinds of games that have kind of defined the cutting edge and the most whatever, you know, high profile gaming experiences for the last 10, 15, 20 years could almost become dinosaurs the way that flight sims, you know, that were really big and expensive have, or
I was just going to say like if you feel like the games you like are endangered, then any game that isn't the most successful within the console arena, those people, including me, have been feeling endangered for a long time. Like any remotely complicated strategy game or tactics-driven thing, or like anything basically that isn't a game where you're a guy who runs around. On the kind of high-end PC and console space, those things have been endangered for a long time. But I know what you're saying.
Yeah, this GDC especially freaked out a lot of people. Because of that.
Because of all the Facebook people were out in full force. This was the first GDC year where those people were out in full force with already a proven year of success. Whereas last year, a lot of people were talking about that stuff.
Right. Facebook
this is
apps
the year
were
where
like
Facebook has 90 million users.
Yeah.
Or 85 or whatever. I mean, fucking a lot of millions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's
strange to me because it feels like things that are like intentionally single player, period. Just like no co-op, no competitive, no Twitter or Facebook integration or anything. Are like
but you can tell your Twitter friends how far you are in Uncharted 2.
Are like headed towards being a pretty specific niche, you know, where it's just like no connectivity. This is a thing you do by yourself, and you feel like you're in a world, you know, experiencing it firsthand.
I would personally
it's
not.
Interesting.
Yeah, I agree, and that is the kind of game I play the most overall. And
it's not like those things aren't still profitable.
No,
I mean,
exactly,
you look at games like, for instance, you know, Mass Effect 2 did really well, and critically, and I assume in sales, and
that's why you probably don't have much to worry about, because those are still like the people who already enjoy those games aren't going to stop existing. That's my point. There might be lots of other people who don't enjoy those games who do enjoy Facebook games, but someone who enjoys playing Mass Effect 2 is probably like you. I don't think they're suddenly going to disappear. Like,
but I think they do kind of slowly
disappear.
I mean, I think it's kind of similar to like the Japanese game market, you know, where it's sort of like they for the most part has concentrated on like their core of like Japanese fans, and that fan base has just deteriorated over time without being replaced, you know?
I think but I think that's more like particular design approaches as opposed to the general notion of kind of an in-depth single player experience. Like, I don't think that the market for that has shrunk that much. It's just transferred to be more heavily Western rather than Japanese.
Yeah, maybe.
I think that market has a chance of going away over, like, if you want to measure this in, like, you know, the single player high budget games have been the thing that games are, like you said, for about 20 years. But if you look 20 years into the future, probably there's a good chance that won't be the case at all. Okay,
so do you think that like dramatic television is going to go away in the face of reality TV, since you can get 30 million people watching Dancing with the Stars, which is more than you can get for pretty much any dramatic program, which costs a lot more to make? I mean, do you think this? I mean,
no, but I think games are in flux more, and I think people's interest in them is still a weird sort of transient thing. You'll end up getting a generation of people who grew up on like a DS and Facebook, more so than us who grew up on a Nintendo and a PC. And I don't know how
why do those people growing up take like, you know what I mean? Like, if we've already had generations of people growing up on this, like, doesn't that imply that the people growing up on Facebook or whatever, like, that's equally
well, I think that generally
transient, potentially.
Well, but I think that the fall off, the generational fall off, I think is a real thing where it's like the people from prior generations bit by bit tend not to play as much stuff, you know, and like the younger generation is going to be the ones making up the core of we spend X number of dollars per week on this thing, and it's going to be higher than the guys who are now like 40 or 50 and Half-Life 1 is part of their upbringing or whatever. You know?
That could be, although the biggest audience for social games, at least in the United States, is people who are on the older side. People in their teens do not play a lot of social games.
Yeah.
There might be like a really specific teenage girl demographic of a certain type that plays a lot of that stuff, but the great majority of it is older females, usually in their 40s and 50s.
I don't think that it's a huge threat. I don't think single player games are actually going to shift a whole lot.
I would,
but it was. I mean, there's going to be some degree of change, obviously, just as evidenced from what happened at GDC.
And I mean, even like if you look at social gaming and Facebook stuff and whatever as one poll, like, I mean, even pulling closer in, just like co-op being almost an expectation, and that being of like a big, you know, expensive game, and that being kind of a slippery slope towards like, well, now the single player experience is diminished because we expect you to be playing this co-op. I mean, I've played a number of co-op based games where it's like, I don't have any of my friends online right now, and I paid money for this, and I want to play it and kind of feel immersed in it. And this isn't fun unless you have another person.
Even among the hardcore gamer community, there is sort of a meme of like co-op automatically makes anything better.
Yeah, which on some level is true,
in
but
some
also,
cases is true, but also can ruin a game that otherwise would have been best served,
at least for the single player component, you know. So I don't know. It just seems like it could go towards being a pretty a niche, you know. And
I will say though that I would not be entirely averse to that. Like,
no,
outside
I don't either,
of
but it's like some of this stuff is like sorry, I just think that some inherent like aspects of these kinds of games require maybe not, but a certain level of, you know, like just money and team size to actually carry off something like this. I mean, I guess if you could... This
is being said by the author of Game Noir, the classic blog post. You're selling yourself out here.
If you could maintain fidelity and scale overall scope, then I guess, you know, you could do the same thing with less money and a smaller team.
I mean, I think that'll start to become more true when you look... I mean, I don't know. The stuff that smaller and smaller teams are doing now is kind of mind-blowing, but... even as kind of mainstream game industry teams balloon constantly. But I wouldn't be all that broken up if that type of game that I enjoy became a bit more of a niche target. I mean, when I look outside of video games, most of the stuff that I enjoy, be it movies or books or whatever, television, like most of the stuff that I enjoy is the stuff that isn't the big like centerpiece marquee titles. You know, most of it's the stuff that has some like decent awareness behind it, but isn't like the absolute blockbuster akin to you know, like a Modern Warfare 2 launch. Like the equivalent of that in the movie world is usually not what I care about.
Yeah, I mean, we both like Mad Men or whatever, you know, like the kind of stuff that is good but is not the biggest.
The thing that's always going to be tough in games, though, is if you want a world, that's the most expensive thing you can make in a game, is a big explorable world.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that you get for free, or at least for cheap. Or you can imply a lot more easily in a TV show because you don't have to show the parts that...
Yeah, right. Yeah. No, it's true. And I think that something like GTA will probably always continue to be that huge marquee thing, because that is a game that is more relatable, I think, than a lot of video games. And that might be what's necessary if you're going to make a huge big budget thing as opposed to some weird, wacky sci-fi shenanigan, you know, like, or not. I don't know. I mean, I guess sci-fi movies are getting bigger all the time these days. But, you know, I would be happy if games of that scale were sort of big, expensive exceptions, and there were a lot of games with more controlled scope. that weren't always expected to outdo each other every year with insanity.
Because I mean, on some level, it seems like having no network connectivity is potentially part of scoping, where it's like, okay, we're a small team, we're going to make something that's very focused on the single player experience of the world. We're going to save on our feature set and everything by not having to have network programmers or debug any of that stuff. Or
that's the
whatever.
sort of thing that we're going to end up seeing. I mean, I'm always dumb optimist guy about this sort of thing, where I expect change to eventually come back around, where I feel like as more and more people are playing games on just sort of more like embedded systems or
just cross-platform stuff in general.
It seems like when the potential fidelity for a lot of those systems comes back up, those are all very solitary devices. Things like, portable computers and things that everyone loves talking about this week, like the fucking iPad.
Your favorite device.
I'm so excited for that stupid thing, but whatever things are the shift in hardware that seems to be going on right now in terms of personal stuff is connected to the internet in social in that way, but there seems to be less and less of a focus on people packing in front of a television.
Yeah.
And hopefully
it's more like you hold the device that you were personally
and I
using.
think if those things evolve into a way that you can actually have some fidelity of control and nice art, you might end up with an audience sort of looped back around that is looking for solitary interactive experiences. And that's a crazy I'm that guy on the podcast who just said that stupid shit, sorry.
Yeah, but it's also connected to the this is not the same point really, but it's related to it, the notion that theoretically sometime we might have game formats that are not entirely proprietary, at least not in the sense that they are now, where every other possible form of mass media entertainment that exists today can be converted or viewed on any type of device, because
that's the reason
it's
people want an iPad, is that it's another way that you can listen to all of the music that you have and read your books.
Right, but games are the one thing where that's just completely impossible. Everything has to be discreetly developed for a particular platform. Well, OnLive is an example of how you breach that barrier.
Man, did those guys shoot themselves in the foot with that pricing. God.
What was the pricing?
You pay for a subscription and then you buy games off the marketplace on top of that.
Wow, how much are those things?
I think the subscription was, it was $15 a month, and then I think games were $5 to $10.
Jesus.
That's not a lot. I guess that's not a lot, except that you're not buying
except
anything.
that you don't own anything. Yeah.
Well, you're buying a license to play it, right?
But sort of.
Yeah. The model that they used to get everyone excited about it was, it's like Netflix streaming, but for games. But instead, it's like, well, it's actually like the iPhone apps. It's like the iPhone App Store, but it's all in the cloud. You don't even get a file that you can tote around with you. It's weird. Games.
But yeah, it seems like the two potential outcomes are either what I would think of as more positive, where it's like people get a smaller, more diverse, a more diverse market of smaller, less just sort of like mass appeal single player games that are these more contained projects, or there are no single player games except the most gigantic blockbusters that can get funded because they know that they can make $100 million off them.
No, it's true. And I think that, that is to an extent how Hollywood works if you're interested in a certain kind of movie. But the thing that's nice about the thing that's hypothetically something that might be appealing to me is that once you get rid of I don't know, I guess the way I see it is sort of, if you take the spotlight off of that segment of games, there might be more freedom not to have to live up to ridiculous expectations.
Yeah, where it's just like, we are not we're not even in the running to be like the premier form of video game anymore. Right. So we're going to speak directly to the people who are still interested in this secondary form in ways that just have fewer, less oversight, fewer dependencies, etc.
Yep. The tough thing, obviously, as we've already said, is that video games are so much more technology dependent than most
it's
forms
weird
of entertainment.
To think about that just nothing is free in a game.
Yeah.
Like with a book, people can read
anything they want.
People can read your words. With a camera, you can take a picture of something and it's there.
Yeah.
Sucks.
Games are
unless
difficult.
we move back to FMV and text adventures, then
Oh man, it was funny. I was at this weekend was WonderCon here in San Francisco, which is just some lame nerd convention.
Whoa!
I don't know. I thought it was kind of lame, but that's just me.
But you shared a bathroom with Nicolas Cage.
So
You watched Nicolas Cage pee.
well, okay. So
Whoa.
That's what I heard.
what, Jake? You're outraged after that? After you said I shared a bathroom with him, and now you're outraged.
Oh, I meant
that-
like you washed hands next to him.
Oh, no, that's
next
not
to
what
his
happened.
penis.
So I was in a hotel room in. This
this
was
is
like
getting good.
Wild one.
This cat is getting better
No,
by the
this is
second.
not a good story. That's the problem. It's a goofy, weird short story that does not have an amazing punchline. So I was.
Where's that
in a-
timpani guy?
Oh man, he died. We already determined that
Oh, yeah, he
last
did.
time.
He did.
I was getting ready to interview Jerry Bruckheimer, and I was in a hotel room.
What is wrong with you?
And,
What?
And I was hanging
Why are you
out.
in-
WonderCon's just
Jerry
lame,
Bruckheimer.
stupid thing. Anyway, I
was-
was in this room.
This was like
Hilarious.
taking place at the same time WonderCon was, but it was in a hotel, whereas WonderCon is in a convention
So you were
center.
sharing a hotel room with Jerry Bruckheimer,
Jerry Bruckheimer wasn't there at the time.
Nicolas Cage, and Jordan Mechner?
None of those people were simultaneously in the room at the same time ever.
Oh,
I
were
was-
you talking to Jerry Bruckheimer because he's producing the Prince
Yes.
of Persia movie? Okay.
Yes.
No, because he's a listener. He's an Idle Thumbs reader.
Hey, Jerry.
And so when I was in this room waiting, Nicolas Cage just like opened the door, walked in the room, and just like with a dour expression on his face, walked into the bathroom, and he never came out. Like I was in there for like another 20 or 30 minutes, and that, like he was just there. So that guy had some stuff to take care of. Also, it looks like he is trying to bleach his hair to be the color of his skin because it's weird. He's a weird looking dude at the moment. He's got long bleached weird hair, and he's Nicolas Cage, and he looks weird.
Does he look like Lynch from Kane and Lynch?
Sort of, except he doesn't have the big bald spot. Yeah.
Did you read about that? Kane and Lynch, they're making a movie of it.
Yeah, and like Jamie Foxx is playing one of them.
Jamie Foxx is playing Lynch. Jamie Foxx
so
as
fucking weird.
pudgy, bald, mulleted, white
man. Is he
psychopath.
gonna be white or is he gonna be black?
No, it's just gonna be him. And
So they're changing the character.
yeah,
Okay.
and Bruce Willis is playing Kane.
Okay.
So it's Bruce Willis and Jamie Foxx, sort of being Kane and Lynch. I mean, Bruce
Is
Willis
this
is
gonna
a
be
way
like a
better.
comedy buddy action?
I don't
Like, what?
know. I mean, that game was pretty fucking grim.
It
That's
was
what
a
I liked
fucking
about it.
dark, grim game.
Yeah. I mean, the thing I loved about that game was how like the entire thing was about Kane trying to fix stuff, and every mission was about how he just fucks it up worse by doing that. And so if the movie's about that, maybe it's interesting. Yeah. But maybe Jamie Foxx instead of Lynch is odd.
That is a weird choice.
Hey, there you go.
Get ready for that movie to.
I mean, I wonder if he'll
be
still
made.
be like a pill popping, like schizophrenic.
Who knows?
I don't know.
Maybe he is.
The weird thing about
Video
making video
games.
game movies is there's really no accountability to anything.
Yeah.
Because, like, there's no. I mean.
Yeah, it could be the equivalent of the fucking Super Mario Brothers movie.
Yeah,
where it's
exactly. Yeah,
where it's
and
just like,
it was.
two guys shoot guns. We're gonna call it Kane and Lynch.
Yeah,
Who knows?
probably. But we were talking to what's his name, Jerry Bruckheimer, and he was hearing that guy's philosophy on, I don't know, anything, just confirms why I'm not interested in movies he makes ever. Like it, I don't know. He's a super nice guy. Like he was a really nice guy to talk to, but it was really weird hearing the way he thinks about.
Was he the guy that was responsible for the freaking Transformers movies?
That's Michael Bay.
Michael Bay.
Michael Bay. I mean, Michael Bay
They're
for the
similar.
longest time was the guy who would direct.
Yeah, like
Jerry Bruckheimer produced.
He produced
movies.
like Bad Boys 2, and he also produced more recently the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. But he
Boys
basically
2.
Movies where things blow up 1,000 times are often traditionally produced by him and directed by Michael Bay.
Why is Bad Boys 2? Why do people not talk about Bad Boys 1?
Apparently, it's not as good. That's like Terminator
Wait,
2
really?
is the one that
Is that the reason?
everyone talks about Terminator 2, and no one talks about Terminator 1.
Some people talk about Terminator.
Yeah, but most people talk about the 2.
Yeah,
Does
think
everyone talk about Bad Boys 2? I've never heard
Yeah,
anyone
Bad
talk
Boys
about
2 is cited all the fucking time.
Bad Boys 2 is
As
cited
what?
frequently as like that movie.
As-
I think it just has way more like quotable / hey, remember that
Explosion?
scene?
Yeah, that's
ridiculous
also
shit.
that's the movie with the two dudes walking away from an explosion as the poster. Like that.
Yeah.
that's the iconic image from
and
that.
one of them is Will
sunglasses
Smith, and the
dudes,
other
yeah.
one is
Lawrence?
Martin Lawrence. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was reading about this the other day because he referenced it.
But I mean, did you watch?
I like how
did
there are
you-
sure the people who listen to this podcast are like, "What the fuck is this? What are these?" I read that Will Smith was in it because I was researching Bad Boys 2. It was mentioned.
because the way-
did you
I
watch
interviewed this
fucking-
man Jerry Bruckheimer, and he mentioned his film.
Well, no, the way he mentioned it was hilarious because okay, I've never seen Bad Boys 2, but I fucking heard of it. I know those movies
Yeah.
exist.
Well, I mean, you
And
saw
the
Hot
way-
Fuzz, right?
I did see Hot Fuzz.
They made
yeah.
like 500,000 references to it. In that
Okay, well, I didn't know that, but now I do. And
They
so
put clips from
They
the
show
movie
the fucking
in it.
poster in the film, and they say "Bad Boys 2 Classic."
all right,
Anyway,
whatever. Well,
Chris, he says that is weird.
the way that Bruckheimer, he was like, oh, we did this movie. It was called Bad Boys one time, and it was a film that we did. And like every time he brings something up, he like he's that fucking guy where he's like, yeah, we did this movie, Bad Boys. It's called Bad Boys. And when we asked him about making a video game movie, he was like, yeah, well, people think you can't make a movie out of some things, but you can do it. I mean, we made a movie out of a theme park ride. And then like 5 seconds later, he's like, oh, Pirates of the Caribbean. It's like, yeah, we fucking know. I know I've heard of Bad Boys. I know Pirates of the Caribbean. Like, you don't need thanks, douche. But no, he was a nice guy for real.
Whoa!
This is the best. I love
Also,
this.
apparently, Beverly Hills Cop took 10 years to make. He said. So now you know that
From
fact.
conception to shipping
yeah.
to completion.
Because apparently the way that Bruckheimer's scripts are written, he explained this to me, you have to... Apparently there are very few people in Hollywood who can write a good screenplay. And so what you end up having to do to make a good movie, according to Jerry Bruckheimer, is you have someone write a draft, and then you bring someone else in to write humor into it, and then you bring someone else in to kind of get the structure, and then you bring someone else in to write a good female character, then you bring someone else in to get the dialogue punchy, and then and apparently you just do this one by one. It's not like a writing room or anything. You just bring people in a line for like years, which
and only like what is it, like the last 3 people that touch the script get their names in the credits.
I think it's you have to be able to take credit for X% of the final script.
Like Jordan Mechner is still credited on Sands of Time, even though his contribution was the original draft.
Is he screenplay or is he story by or something?
Oh,
you can also end up getting that.
Yeah. I remember reading about all those WGA rules one time, but I don't know which he is. But it was surprising, and so apparently sometimes this takes like 6 to 10 years. Like Sands of Time, I guess, has been in the works for 5 or 6 years now.
Yeah.
So weird.
Sweet.
And then we talked to Jordan Mechner, who's actually a cool dude, who's really cool and smart.
But really, he's a douche. Oh no,
no, but he's cool though. He's cool. Fucking douche, but he's nice. But no, seriously, I like him though.
Great guy, great to work with.
Cock fucking asshole.
So, stand up individual, yeah. No, I mean Jordan Mechner. I've kind of come to realize that he is like one of the biggest kind of game design just masters.
He's a lord.
He's a lord of game design, and I
lord.
really didn't realize it until the last couple of years when I started reading more of like his writing and interviews
all
and
that stuff he puts up on his site and everything.
Yeah, and other interviews like that interview that was on Gama Sutra with him and I think Michelle Ancel.
Eric Chahi.
Oh, Eric Chahi, right?
Yeah.
And just like getting exposed to just like holy shit, this guy knows exactly what's up and like is really just kind of wise and pragmatic about game design in ways that I hadn't had as much of exposure to just kind of his thinking on design until more of it had started going online recently, basically. And
I'm really glad that that's happening because I've been a fan of that guy for like a decade now, or more.
So I've been really impressed. There have been multiple things that I've read that he's written that I'm just like, yes, that is the shit. And
you should make more of the games.
Yeah, and
he's working on it. He's working on a game right now.
Yeah,
good.
It's stuff. It's stuff all the way between like like that interview that went up this year versus stuff that I read from his journals from like 1989 or something, and I'm just like, yes, this guy knows everything. Not really, but I mean, he has his head in the right place as far as game design goes, and it's super impressive.
And he's constantly doing other things. I mean, he wrote, drafted a screenplay for a big Jerry Bruckheimer movie, but he also, has directed independent documentaries and written like graphic novels, and like he just does stuff all the time.
I mean,
he's constantly doing things.
He's like a world traveler, and he like sketches his travels and stuff like that.
He apparently only started sketching a few years ago, and he's actually really goddamn good at it.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's cool. And
polymath in our midst, mayhap.
He's apparently working. I think I mentioned this to you, Jake, but he's planning on bringing back The Last Express in some form, but probably not as a game.
It should be a game, though.
But I mean,
I just want more Last Express.
I do too, but the style and world of that game is also something that could really be successfully done as a lot of other things. And
but I wonder how interesting it would be if it was just a XYZ story, movie, whatever, set on the last...
I would not complain if Jordan Mechner came over and said, so I'm going to do a turn of the century mystery story on the Orient Express that's super heavily like Art Nouveau. Okay, I'll take that. Fine.
Like that's super interesting.
As long as he's also making a sweet game somewhere else at the same time.
It just doesn't seem like it At that point, there's not a shit ton of differentiation from like an Agatha Christie novel or something.
No, that is true.
Yeah.
But whatever. That guy can make that, and I'll consume it.
All right.
Yep.
I'll consume his train.
Will you?
Based fiction.
Well, good talking. Do you
Yeah.
want to look at a mail?
Yeah, let's take a break and I'll get some mail queued up.
See ya. This cast is over.
Video game! We're back.
And we're back.
Reader mail. It's Jake. Video games.
Silence.
So, Larry LeBron writes, "Hi, Tit P. Does it ever strike you as odd that every
That wasn't
single
even
reader,
me. That was
every
Jake.
single reader mail starts with one of you guys? That
Well, that's because you're the one reading it.
Yeah.
So you could do it. Here, let me read it. Give me that shit. All right. Yeah. Hi, Tit P.
Ugh.
Does it ever strike you as odd that a conversation about combat systems, quote unquote, occurs for nearly every new game? Why do you believe that so many games feature combat as a core mechanic? What kinds of games do you think we'd see in an industry where combat was only as prevalent as it is in books and movies today? Thanks for all the everything. Larry LeBron.
What do you think, Chris?
I think that at the root
Guns.
of that is because one of the easiest things to do is, in terms of having an effect, like implementing a system or having an effect on something in a world is to remove it. Like that's one of the easiest things you can do to actually impact something and have player express agency. And I mean, that's what almost every board game is based on, like it's, you remove a piece or you capture something or whatever. I mean, like taking control away or making something disappear is like a very straightforward thing to do. Like, I mean, I even remember when I would program stupid shit in BASIC, I would make a game where, you're a little ship and you shoot a thing and then something disappears because that was all I could figure out to do.
Yeah.
And I think that, like, at its core is behind a lot of it.
Yeah. I mean, games are numbers. Video games are real-time representations. Therefore, they're capable of representing characters. Numbers plus characters is hit points, do things to the
That too.
thing and take the numbers away and you have an effect, and in 3D space, put a box around the character, draw a line to it, see whether they intersect. These are the most simple things that you can do interactively.
You can take screenshots of the characters in some current games, though. That's the new thing. What? You can use a camera instead of a gun.
That's true. You can.
You can draw a line at them and then take a screenshot that looks and sees if the character is inside of your box.
That's true. And sometimes you can do both at the same time and you can see the guy who shot you in the head. Team Fortress 2.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the most basic. It's just like it's the easiest thing
one.
you can
Yeah,
do.
it is the easiest one. Yeah.
It's the easiest thing that
Chris,
you can do to create like constant, engagement by the player.
No, I think Chris Hecker was the one who it's in a recent. I mean, other people have made this observation, but he basically said, in a movie, what's the easiest thing to do? It's to have a still shot of two people talking in a room. What's the hardest thing to do in a video game? Basically that. What's the easiest thing in a video game? Shoot someone and they die. Guns, all kinds of stuff, explosions. Like that's the easiest thing to do to a decent level of fidelity and have it be engaging. On the film side, that's something that requires a certain budget and
way more investment, special effects,
exactly,
and
all kinds of things that
technical people, and
right,
everything else.
And so there is a weird. And then in a book, you can any fucking thing you possibly imagine, you can just write it down.
And that's why cutscenes are so sweet. Shoot a dude in the game, have two people talk in the cutscene. Perfect. Done. Ship it.
Shipped. I just shipped that real quick. It was so easy to do that I just, after you said ship it, I did it.
Thanks, Chris.
No, yeah. You can buy my handiwork in any video game on a shelf. It's a tough problem.
It is. And
I do think it's a problem.
And a lot of times when you look at games that try to have alternate sorts of interactions, they are a reskinning of core combat mechanics,
right.
Where it's like a social interaction between two characters. You're actually basically wearing down their, hit points as in the form of like, you know, persuasion or something. You know, I mean, it's just
You're murdering them with persuasion.
Mm-hmm.
You're psychologically murdering them to death.
Murder.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's I think the biggest problem is even beyond the obvious thing of just like all we can do is combat is basically the only thing that we can do very well is physicality. Like,
that's also true. Yes.
You know, like even if it's not combat, and you're like, okay, we're gonna make up mechanics that aren't combat, it's gonna be about digging. You know, like it's always like it's gonna be about driving or about parachuting or about
pushing a block,
jumping around,
and it's like, okay, it's not
shooting.
It's not going to be about a discourse of abstract ideas.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, all right.
Why did you give me a sassy look when you said that?
Because I love to look at you.
Oh man.
You guys want to go to the
You couldn't make a game about that.
Yeah.
No, and you know, you mentioned the cutscene.
I just made your hit points go up, Jake.
It's all, you know, part of it too is that we're still
go up.
Persuasion.
Part of it too is even, I think, just like a technical fidelity issue where even in a cutscene it's hard to sell human interaction a lot of the time. Yeah. You know, it's like there are very few...
You don't like the GTA mocap bro hug?
well,
Like
one
the
of the
hands
things,
just
like
1,000 miles away from another guy? I'm acting it over and over because it's my favorite.
Anything picking anything up in a video game, terrible. Or arms
what about
interacting.
Holding hands in Ico. Come on.
That was actually one of the
nicer
examples,
ones.
Yeah.
I know.
Even
that's
like
that's the only example anyone.
Far Cry 2, which that game's all about hands, but there's still like the wacky attachment leg where you pick up ammo off of a thing and then it goes whoa, 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 and rubber bands into your hand. It makes that sound. I don't know. It's an odd creative choice.
Does a lot less hand rubber banding than most games do.
Really, that game was nothing for me,
really?
but hands going whomp and like ammo just like lagging off the shelf and then snapping into my hand.
Yeah, right. In that sense, yes,
anywhere that they could translate the player to the exact place they needed to be to grab a doorknob or whatever, it looked perfect. But anywhere where there was just something was in an arbitrary location and it would just slide towards you along.
Yeah, it was wacky.
Yeah, but you know, I thought it was a fair approximation.
Was it
didn't
Crisis that did it like really carefully?
Yeah. Crisis, like the hand would go out and like clamp onto the thing and take it. I mean, also like
that costs so much.
The original
looks really good though.
Yeah, and the original fucking Hitman game in
the
year 2000.
Right. Yeah.
Like one of the like at the time I was
year 2000.
Hitman.
I was super enamored of that game, and a lot of it was just because it had all of this interesting immersive technology that was almost used nowhere else at the time. I mean, it had like full interactive ragdolls that you could move around and stuff. Almost never done at that point. It had like full cloth and like plant sim, you know, so you could like walk against a curtain and it would actually curve over Hitman and stuff. And it had, if there was a thing on the table and you went to pick it up, his hand would actually reach out dynamically and like IK to it and pick it up and put it in his pocket, like each individual item. I don't know. That stuff is crazy, and people don't invest in that stuff now a lot of times, you know. Strange little evolutionary dead ends.
It is still unfortunately expensive to do reliably.
Yeah.
Unless you're playing like Orb World where everything is an orb.
Yeah.
Walking upstairs, which is like a basic IK function, like is still not
expensive to do in a nice way.
I know.
Like,
I'm just saying.
Your foot up one stair and on the other one, and then the player starts turning around, and then like knees. You know.
Yeah. No. It's
the game had full real time reflections. It had glass that broke like into individual triangles of itself that were actually pieces of the pane that had broken.
That's motherfucking Hitman 2000.
Yeah.
That's probably what it was called. That was its code name.
Shit. It had bullet decals where you would shoot a guy, really rare at the time. Maybe. I mean, you saw it in like GoldenEye, but like whatever. I don't know. Crazy weird game to get published and turn into like a long running series.
And the first game was not well received at all.
No, I mean like the first game was really hit and miss. It had some really amazing levels that even then they were hard to, you know, you had to like get through the weird stuff to get to it, the good stuff, but there's so much potential there. I'm glad that it turned into blood money eventually.
We should go to the second reader email.
Go for it. Read it.
Right. This is a really quick question for me.
Will you read it, please?
Duck Cubed writes, topic followed by obligatory fan fawning. The new theme song starts with a few seconds of a guitar strum ladder thing. I don't know music terminology. It leads me to think blah, blah, blah. Does that series of notes have a name? I was hoping to find more songs with that sound, and I can just really quickly answer this. That's called an arpeggio. So now you know.
Is that particular chord like a specific arpeggio?
No, it's just an E chord. It's nothing too special.
It's an E arpeggio.
Yep, it's an arpeggiated E chord. An arpeggio is when you have a chord, but you play the notes in quick succession instead of all at once. So that was that.
Arpeggiated E chord. That's the answer to your questions at idlethumbs.net.
There might be an E7 chord. I don't even remember. That's how stupid I am. Matthew Wasik writes, "Hey there, Boost Scoops and Games." Oh, weird. Okay, this is another music question. Hey, Chris, why don't your songs ever include a drum track? Is this a personal preference, a limitation of software, or something else? Are you allergic to drum machines, Snugglebum? PS?
The Ultra Boost track includes drums.
Yeah, it does. PS, Nick isn't so bad. So, yes, the answer is I love drums, and I love playing drums, but I can't play drums in an apartment, so I don't put drums in my songs, and I don't like drum machines. The only exception is the Ultra Boost track, which is like a very electronic thing in the first place. So.
Well, but you have the crazy expensive
drum rocker
rock band thing. Can you use that to do synth?
You
drums?
Can, and I was hoping to, but it's a shit drum set, so I don't. Yeah,
right.
I just don't like synthesized drums. Like I would rather not have drums than have shit synthesized drums. So I know there's like a software you can use that has
live
good
drums
sounding
sound so
samples
fucking
and stuff.
good, though,
but
compared to even good samples.
Yeah. And also I like actually playing the drums, and it bums me out if I have to just use some sample instead of getting to do it myself. So I just don't use them.
All right.
That's the answer to that question. Let's see what else we have.
Maybe about video games instead of about you and your music.
Roy Hampton. Wow, this guy starts almost the same way. Hey, Boost Video Games and Scoops. I have a question.
It's an arpeggio.
I have a question for you all that I will get to by means of a drawn out but relevant Far Cry 2 story. I might try to condense this. So
let me read it. I don't know why.
You want it?
I liked reading the other one.
You want to read it?
I don't know. Sure. I'll try to condense it.
It's really long. Try to condense it.
I'll try to condense it.
Okay.
All right. Whew.
That was the first word.
All right.
It included a pronunciation guide.
He starts with whoo. Back catalog, decided yes. Okay. I was playing an early mission when my roommate decided to watch the game over my shoulder.
This is Far Cry 2. Just reminding everyone, Far Cry 2. Far Cry 2.
Far Cry 2.
Far Cry 3.
In an attempt to get my roommate to stop playing WoW, I decided to hype the game Boost Remo style by mentioning how your in-game friends save you when you're knocked down. So therefore, I let myself get killed, and sure enough, a buddy shows up and fixes me. Another jeep load of angry men shows up, and a firefight ensues. I jump into a mounted gun on my jeep and lay waste as my buddy decided to take cover down the bottom of a deep ditch next to the road. At the end of it, I'm badly hurt but alive. So my roommate asks, "Can you kill your friend?" Unsure, I decided to creep the jeep closer to the edge of the ditch, tilting it down so I can aim the mounted gun at him. Sure enough, I can. My buddy dies after a couple hits to the head, and my roommate laughs hard as I feel guilty for my actions.
I like that sentence. My roommate laughs hard as I feel guilty for my actions.
I get out of the jeep and rush down to the dead body. Not sure why. I guess I thought I could help him back up, but I couldn't. As I look at his lifeless body, I hear the sounds of a rolling vehicle. I turn around to see my jeep hurtling towards me. It turns out, in trying to get a better shot at my now dead buddy, I left the jeep on too much of an angle. Unable to move out of the way in time, I was crushed by my own jeep. Having only 1 bar of health, I died from the impact. My roommate laughed hysterically and asked, "What now?" I said my buddy should come and save. Oh shit. The words "game over" appeared. My roommate walked off laughing, still not sold on the game. This brings me to my question. Have you guys ever tried to show a friend a game that you were really into only to have the game let you down at the exact moment you need it to be awesome?
Yes.
How have any of you ever experienced this, or is
say.
it just me? Keep up the good work. P.S. My roommate also blew up Megaton in Fallout 3. Seems to enjoy being a prick. He's nice in real life, however.
Good job, Steve.
Yeah, that was long. I apologize. I couldn't do anything.
That's a good story, though.
Also, the funny thing to me is that I've heard stories like that from people before, and that's the exact stuff that makes me love Far Cry 2. So whenever people are like, "And that's why this game's bullshit," I'm like, "What? What are you talking about? That's
you just
amazing.
described the best thing.
That's like,
you actually derived a real authentic anecdote from this thing that you could tell me. Like, that's amazing. What were you going to say, Jake?
Jake has an amazing experience.
I hear a game fucking let you down.
No, it's not amazing, but
oh no, I think it's incredible.
I had a housemate when GameCube was out. We played through all of Mario Sunshine together, like ridiculously a lot. And
this is amazing.
Galaxy's a way better game than Sunshine, in my opinion. and I tried to show it to him like just in the last few months. He came up to San Rafael to visit. It's like, oh man, you're gonna fucking love Mario Galaxy because we played Sunshine so much. And then he really wanted to start from the beginning. And the first world of Mario Galaxy is kind of garbage compared to all the parts in the game that make it actually the most amazing thing.
So he thought you just run around on the ground.
He's like, oh, wait, you just chase this rabbit around? What is this pill? This isn't... I thought it was going to be... and it's like, okay, well, that's too bad.
Have I ever told the story on the podcast where my dad saw me playing... on my Game Boy, The Legend of Zelda, Link's Awakening.
I think
and I was in a swamp at the time, and he's like, oh, I see. So the object of this game is to navigate through this maze. And it was like one screen. It's like my dad is so unfamiliar with like anything. He was, born before a certain year. And like there was no way I could convey what this means.
I'm an epic hero.
Yeah, no, I know, but I mean that's what it's like. Oh, well, this is one segment of a swap within the world of Hyrule, and I have to complete a quest, and it's like, what the? How am I supposed to ever explain it? Like,
I assure you, it's good and not this.
Well, because to my dad, a game is not like a story. A game is like.
The thing you're seeing on the screen right now is like Pac-Man or something.
Yeah, and you get to... Right. I don't even think he knows Pac-Man. Like,
but
get
it is
to, like...
you're on this screen of
this is like
game.
A maze game. Right. It's like to go through the maze.
I like that. I see the point of this game is to navigate out of this maze.
Right, exactly.
No.
You might be seeing the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Well, it's true. There was a maze part.
Yeah.
Was there actually a maze?
Oh, it's the only swamp maze.
It was like, you've got to push a rock and open. Yeah. But I don't even think he was aware of that. I think he literally thought it was like the kind of maze you do like with a pencil in a newspaper and you trace to the end of it.
Oh, okay.
Here it's an interactive version that you walk to the... I think that's what he thought it was.
Right.
It's a maze master.
So this was the moment when a game let me down. I was trying to sell my dad on Legend of Zelda, Link's Awakening, and it just didn't work.
I've got a good dad being unimpressed with a video game story.
Yeah. Well, see, my dad was impressed with it. That was
maze.
Like, I see. You navigate through this maze.
My dad was unimpressed.
Okay. Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That was the best story.
Yeah. It was not long after I started working on BioShock 2, and my dad came to visit San Francisco, and this may partially be my fault because we probably walked all around the city in Alcatraz and shit that day. But then that evening I was like, hey, let me play the demo of BioShock 1 for you to demonstrate it, because here's the game I'm working on a sequel to. So I'm like, all right. So I get it on the Xbox, and my dad's sitting on the couch next to me. I start playing it, and I mean, as someone who was only a fan of it at the time, like the demo for BioShock is fucking amazing. Really like the opening of that game
incredible.
Is just, it draws you into that world so much. And so I started up, and I'm kind of doing the tour guide version where I'm looking at all the interesting stuff and kind of going through it and hearing everything and all that. And so go down in the bathysphere, get into the city. Story. My dad hasn't said anything the whole time. He's just sitting there silently next to me watching it, and I just keep going, and I like the whole crazy thing goes with a chick that kills the guy with the hooks, and then you come out and you see the shutters open, you're looking at the city and everything. I just keep going through. My dad's totally silent. I get the first plasmid, it goes through that whole thing where guys are walking by and the tunnel collapses and everything. My dad just doesn't say anything. And I get into the first time that you meet a splicer, and you have to fight him with like Electrobolt, And I do the whole thing, and I zap him and whack him, and he dies. And it's one of the guys that internally is called Toasty. He's the guy that has like the bandage around his head, and I kill him. And then I turn to exit through the door, and another Toasty is there, and he jumps out to attack me. And my dad goes, "That's the same guy." And I'm
That's
just
the first thing he said.
Yes.
In this entire epic experience of like descending this underwater city and the same NPC model. It's the same.
and I'm like, yep, yeah, it is. It's right. It's the same kind of guy. And then I play through the whole rest of the thing.
It's not actually the same guy though, but
it's the same
looks
kind
like
of guy.
It's the same kind of, same class of.
Well, he has the same voice and everything. Yeah. For all intents and purposes, he is the same guy. And then I play through the whole rest of the thing. Big Daddy defending the little sister. Everything. Dad doesn't say anything. I finish it. He's just like, yeah, thanks.
That is
terrible.
My favorite video game story ever. That's the same guy.
Yep. He noticed.
That's an incredible thing. That's like, I mean, it's a great observation for multiple reasons.
Yeah, I mean, it's the kind of
one
thing
of
that,
which is just because it's hilarious.
yeah,
but
and the
also-
other is that it just shows you the kinds of things that we are totally blind to and just accept as
Right.
video game players. It's like, yeah, guys will probably look the same sometimes, but your dad sees it, and it's just like you saw, Harrison Ford twice in the same movie,
Or you saw Harrison Ford kill an identical guy twice. Like, he just punched out a dude, and then
that's
immediately
the same
exact
Nazi
same
in
guy.
like
It's
Indiana Jones or something. Yep.
I fucking love that shit. It's so funny to me.
It's the worst.
Got any more reader mail?
I don't know, maybe.
You don't have to. It's fine. We can just end on that depressing note.
No, we should go out on top. This being our last episode.
Oh, here's a story. This is something we have not addressed since
This is going to be a
the
5
previous
episode
Idle
set.
Thumbs. So basically,
Plus a conference.
what the hell? Is this the official greeting this week? Justin Richardson writes, "Hey, Boost Scoops and video games."
Remember how I told you that the nicknames are oversaturated and you didn't believe
Well, no,
me?
it's because that was at the top of the Phaedrus poster. Famous was there
it's
as
because
well.
it's because we spent the last 3 weeks just going Boost Scoops, famous video games, famous Boost Scoops, Boost,
I don't think
Boost,
we
and
did that.
Scoops, and
I don't think
Boost.
we really did that.
Oh my god, go listen to the episode from GDC.
I don't like to listen.
Okay.
Anyway, so this
Can you
guy,
just read the fucking mail boost?
Yeah, so he says, I came to discover your excellent website a year ago
Mail scoop.
and have listened to all the podcasts, and I
good.
thought I knew everything there was to know about Idle Thumbs. But a couple days ago, I was going through a
Found the secret site.
thread on the official forums, and I stumbled across a link to the old Idle Thumbs website, which I didn't even know existed. There's an incredible amount of content on the site. I'm now realizing how little I know about the history of Idle Thumbs. Could you give a quick summary of how Idle Thumbs came to be? How did you guys create the site? How did Chris, Jake, Nick, and Steve meet, and how has it changed? Thanks, Thumbs. Love the podcast. Justin R.
And
P.S.
how is
Obligatory
Babby
Wizard
formed?
call out.
How is Babby formed?
The reason I wanted to read this email is because
That's something to
anyone
do
who
with
started
Nixon
listening to
Mojo.
Idle Thumbs on the Idle Thumbs podcast probably doesn't know anything about
AdventureGamers.net,
yeah. I mean,
I don't know if we have to go back that far.
we don't have to go
I mean,
back
it
that far,
doesn't-
but we
It's
can.
not really relevant.
NixonMojo.com.
Yeah.
Basically, some of us, like Jake and me and Merrick Braunstring, BM Braunstring,
Braunstring, Mark Braunstring.
and James Spafford, who now works for Media Molecule, and
Some other dudes, Ben Andak.
Ben Andak, and like a bunch of dudes.
Guys from both sides of the pond. About half of them are from the UK, and you guys kind of knew each other through these
Through
classic
various
adventure gaming
websites.
Various,
sites that you would
dorky
posted
news
on
sites
stuff.
on the interwebs.
Yeah.
I said interweb, you heard me. Fuck my life.
In like, in
Don't
like
you mean
2000,
FML?
2002 or 3? 2003, I guess?
The site started in 2004.
Yeah, but I mean,
Did it? Yeah. We
I guess it went live in early 2004.
yeah, we thought of it.
Fascinating.
Here's the fact with a date. E3 2003. Some of us said we should make a website, and then we opened it a year later.
At E3
At E3
2004.
Yeah, actually, yeah, you're right. It was E3 2004. Yeah.
Yep.
And then you guys had a website named idlethumbs.net that instead of being about point-and-click adventure games or whatever, it was like a
All
general
video
video
games.
game
Yeah, it was because
site.
we all liked
We all got
adventure
tired
games when
of
the internet
just talking
started,
about
and then
adventure
we got
games,
sick of
yeah.
them, and now I make them. But
Funny how that works.
yeah, after it was like 2007 or 8. For various reasons, we all either got jobs or hated each other.
Well, I mean,
And-
so just to interject my own stupid ass self,
Steve showed
I
up at some
joined in
point.
like
Oh, yeah.
2005.
And one of the earliest emails I still have on my idlethumbs.net account is from a Stephen Gaynor who was writing to us wanting to write for Idle Thumbs.
Yeah, like that was right after we covered E3 2005, which was the year of the most content on the site,
Yeah,
probably.
2005 was the golden age of Idle Thumbs.
Yeah, I found the link to it on the Double Fine homepage because you were on the
Yeah,
sidebar.
Tim linked to us in the sidebar, which was the
Yeah,
best.
and so I clicked on that and started finding what I thought were pretty interesting.
Newses.
Well, more of the articles.
more so
Yeah,
articles,
the articles,
probably, yeah.
like sort of
Sorry,
the
I was
editorial
combining all
stuff.
text as newses in that sentence.
Yeah,
for some reason.
the editorials were interesting, and I had just finished doing my 3 issues of a print zine about video games in Portland, and I kind of wanted to continue writing about games somewhere that didn't cost me money to print and everything else. And so I found you guys, and it seemed like a cool place to write editorial kind of stuff about games.
And then in 2007, it closed again. Or it closed, and then in 2008, we made a podcast.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow, was it
Also,
really that long ago?
there was a brief
Jesus,
existence
2008.
of the original Idle Thumb podcast by Merrick and Spaff.
Yeah, so that was the extended history of Idle Thumbs.
Yeah,
If you
there was
go-
a newspaper at some point.
Yeah.
Hey, we made it. Well, yeah.
If you go to
maybe.
old.idlethumbs.net, you can.
You can't even. That doesn't work. You have to go to old.idlethumbs.net.
No, that works.
Slash
You have to
some
scroll down to the bottom and
subsection.
click the features link, but then it'll try to hard code it back to www. Then you have to switch that back to old.
Yeah,
and then
why don't we
it'll
just
work.
change those links?
I don't know.
Wouldn't that take
I'd have
about
to
2
log into
minutes?
old.idlethumbs.net.
Yeah.
No, I mean the ones on the front page. Just put old in them.
They're not on the front page right now. The current.
No, if you scroll down to the bottom of the front
it's
page.
not there.
It's because nobody wants to read this shit.
All right. Well, whatever.
Wow. Anyway, so
that's what happened with the website one time.
terrible. Remember when I said we're going to go out on top with that next email? We got to read one more of these, or this is the worst.
I don't know if I have any more queued up.
Idle Thumbs is great.
.net.
Idle
that was a
Thumbs
good
is
email.
great.net.
Who wrote that email?
I don't know.
Oh, I thought that was...
that guy that bought Idle Thumbs is great.net and put a splash
That
image
probably
on
exists.
it. It probably will now. Sorry.
ViggyViggy.com.
Yeah, I know, right?
Websites.
It's still around.
Yeah, is it?
Yeah. Ultra Boost.
Video games. That's you.
I hate everything.
Oh, here's an email.
Okay, good. Whew.
K3D9S7 writes, Dear Jake, message from BigDog. Your discussion about me and my fellow big dogs inspired me to create this illustration for you. I wasn't sure whether your other phobias include insects, clowns, or heights, so I included all 3 of them. Enjoy. Love,
Those
Big
are, in
Dog.
fact, the things that I hate.
Really?
This is terrible.
P.S. After you go to sleep tonight, I'm going to adapt you through a ghost hole. And then he includes these 3 Big Dog cartoons, which I'll put up on the blog.
I'm actually fine with insects, but I'm not a big fan of arachnids. The clown big dog is the worst. Actually, the big dog with a ladder for a head
that's
is
the
the most
fear of heights.
amazing.
Big Dog is Big Dog with a ladder attached to
Oh
it.
man.
Oh, yeah. Also,
that clown Big Dog is the grossest thing.
You have to link to the guy's Jake Hates the Big Dog remix.
Oh yeah, someone made a weird audio mix of a Big
it also
Dog
includes,
discussion.
It includes Steve's laugh and making a bee sound effect, and includes me talking about how I hate the big dog. It's the best.
Yep. On that note, video games.
Thanks for being the best. Write a question to questions@idlethumbs.net.
Or dial 55
Better make it
Y
good.
Ramo.
Or that.
Or make it good. Oh yeah, we should listen to those sometime.
Yeah, I know. I listened to a couple of them, but I didn't listen to all of them.
Was it just people going, Wizard?
There's one guy who
there was
kept
like a
writing
year
into
of
us
that.
for days asking us to help him move his apartment. And then someone wrote in an email and was like, my friend keeps calling you about it moving and you're not reading it ever, so you should. Or playing it.
What?
So I guess those guys really want attention. So some dude called us asking to help move his apartment. So that happened. So I hope you're happy, guy. Video games. Grabbing Peels, don't use her real name.
His name is Grabbin' Peels.
We got Grabbing Peels here. What?
Grabbin' Peels the second. No, you unplugged him
Oh,
from his
sorry.
cyborg companion.
Well,
I think you mean familiar.
His cyborg
Cyborg familiar.
This episode could be called His Cyborg Familiar.
That's also the name of a cyberpunk fantasy novel.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. That's
It
why
definitely
it's called
is.
that. Yeah.
Yep, the Cyber Wizard.
It would involve a cyber wizard.
Yeah.
A cyber lord for sure.
Well, yeah.
That might be the antagonist.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking.
Oh, I thought the cyber wizard would be villainous as well. You can't have
No.
the cyber wizard is good.
I think the cyber wizard is sort of the mentor of the young and experienced protagonist who is learning the powers of cyber wizardry to defeat the cyber lord. It's a dark cyber lord.
Right, Dark Cyber Lord, yeah.
Yeah, because there's black.
The wizard
hats
is
and
his
red
the
hats.
Cyber Wizard is his counterpart. But good, the balance.
He's a nice wizard.
Well, they once
A nice wizard.
They once worked together to rule the kingdom, benevolently.
They brought about great change.
And then the cyber lord grabbed for dark power.
Yeah. That's probably what happened.
And the cyber wizard is in exile.
Yeah. Okay. So the cyber lord rules the
Yes,
throne.
dark
Commands
cyber
the
lord.
throne.
Yeah.
He looks like that space marine sitting on a
Sitting on his throne.
throne.
The ultimate lord.
What?
You haven't seen that picture, the lord? I'm sure
you know all about lords.
I know about lords, but I haven't seen this picture of a lord.
It's a space marine.
It's the
lord.
ultimate lord.
Oh, it's a pretty sweet
Let me
lord.
find this lord.
I'm well aware of lords.
I don't actually know how to find it other than look at your tweets.
Do a Google image search for lord.
Space marine throne Lord.
Space Marine Throne Lord. That's probably a thing.
That's probably his name.
Probably would come up in a Google search, a Google image search.
I don't think Lord is actually going to help him. Now that I think about it. Space Marine.